Hi friends, Tammy with Stampin' Savvy. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I've got a fun project. We're going to be wrapping up the BIRD BALLAD Laser-Cut Card series that I've been sharing over the last couple of weeks. This is part of the BIRD BALLAD Suite, and specifically we've been using the suite to create these 12 gift cards. They come in this gorgeous tin. This is the unfinished card. So you open it up and it's just got that gorgeous laser die cut or laser cut panel on the front. And then what we've done is I've broken it down into three kind of primary design segments. So for the first one that I had shared, these are 4 monochromatic colors. Then I had done 4 that had colored backgrounds that were using the stitched shapes circle. So all of these kind of feature that same basic design. These featured the dies that come in the suite, which is the stitched nested label dies. So these were a variety of different sentiments for this. And then what I want to show you today is this set here. I wanted to have a set of 4 all-purpose kind of note cards to give to my stepmom. This is going to be her birthday gift. So I created the colored panel on the inside and decided that I wanted to just leave these as they were, not put anything on the front, just to give her these beautiful note cards so she could use them, this way, or she could use them this way. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you today how to create this panel here, and then some tips on using the stamping sponges, which is the tool that we're going to be using. So let's get started. You're going to want 3 things. You're going to want the stamping sponges. They come in a 3-pack, and we're going to cut these apart. So just like with the adhesive I shared last week, they last a long time. So what I like to do is cut them in half. And then for coloring, instead of the 1/8 that I use for adhesive, I actually prefer to cut them in about thirds. I find that gives a little bit more sponge to hold on to so that your fingers don't get so inky. But it really is a personal preference. Cut them whatever size works best for you and the size of your own hands. You're also going to want 2 different colored stamping pads. Classic Stampin' pads. So you're going to want a light color for the center and then a darker color for the outside. And you do want, a nice contrast. If they're too close in color, what tends to happen is that as you're doing the sponging and you're building up color, you can lose the contrast a little bit. And so it does help if you pick colors that are not real close to each other. Then you're also going to want the shimmery white cardstock, and this has been cut about a 1/16 of an inch under 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because again, you want to make sure that you put it in and then close your card. Okay, that's really important, because with that fold line, you want to make sure that closed, your shimmery white cardstock doesn't stick out past the card. Which if it does, it's not a big deal, then you just need to trim it down. But it is easier if you can do that going into it. Okay, so I already know that that is going to fit. And then I like to start with the lighter of the 2 colors. And all you're going to do is we're going to start to build up and get some ink on the sponge. Okay, you are going to want to have something underneath you. I am a huge fan of our grid paper. It's about 17 by, I don't know, how high is it? 10. So it's about 11 by 17 is the actual sheet. And then as you can see, it's got your measurements here. It's got the grid lines. So you can use this to make sure that you have a sentiment straight. You can use this for adhering things level, all kinds of different things. But in this case, you're definitely going to want something under your work surface, because we're going to be working off the edge of the paper. And so the grid paper is great for that. Really cost effective too. You get a pad of 100 sheets for less than $12, I think. So they will last you a long time. Okay, so now what I like to do is just pounce off a little bit, and then you're going to start in the center here, and we're just going to start to kind of get that started. Okay, then we're going to get some more ink, blot it off, and you want to kind of use a light touch, and then as you are blending, then you can kind of increase the pressure. Okay. But to begin with, when you first are starting, use a really light touch. Let's do that one more time. Now the nice thing is this is going to be peeking out of this pattern, so this doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So let's go ahead and switch to Poppy Parade. That was Flirty Flamingo. This is going to be Poppy Parade. Such a pretty, pretty color. Nice, bright, kind of orange red. It's kind of a modern twist on real red, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Now for this, because this is the darker color, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off the edge a little bit. Now see what I mean by contrast? If you look at that, they almost look like it's the same color, but not to worry because we're going to be building this up a little bit darker. But that's a great example of why you need to have contrast between your two colors. And then start off the edge, and there we go. Using a light pressure, and you're just gradually building up more and more color. So we've got that really nice contrast between the center there where the Flirty Flamingo is, and then I've built up the darkest to be around the outside edges with the Poppy Parade. Now you may look at that and go, yeah, that looks okay. Not great, but that's okay. Let me show you what it looks like when you put it inside of here. That is what just makes it wow. You get that beautiful ombre effect with that light Flirty Flamingo center and then the darker edges here. And is that not just beautiful? So again, don't worry about, getting this perfect, because looking through it through the laser cut, you will not notice. Okay, so we've got this panel. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the DIY shimmer spray to it. So let's close our pads up because we don't want to get any overspray on our ink pads. Move that out of the way. Let's move the other cards here out of the way. And then give this a good shake. And just going to come in. And I'm going to just give that a good spritz like that. You can add as much as you want. Don't worry about it bowing like that. As it dries, you'll be good to go. And then I'm just going to set this aside to dry for a few minutes. But I want you to see, can you see that beautiful shimmer on there? Oh, is that just, I'm speechless. It is so, so pretty. This will dry in just a couple minutes. Because it's alcohol and not water, it will go really, really, really quick. Through the magic of video, it's been about 2 minutes. This is completely dry. I haven't done anything to this, so you can see how it just kind of went back flat. That is the beauty of using the alcohol. So now what we're going to do is we've got that beautiful shimmer on there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to adhere this on and finish this card up so that start to finish you can see how to do these note cards. Okay, so this happens to be the sponge that I showed in the video last week. So it's been sitting around for about a week. It's a little bit tacky. There's some gum or some adhesive that's built up to it. So again, so what we're going to do is just get a nice puddle of the multi-purpose glue out, and then we're going to start putting a little bit on this. I might have been a little bit generous there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start lightly pouncing, And we're doing it on the craft mat so that that residual goes through to this non-stick surface, not to paper that could cause this to tear. And we're just building up the glue, making sure I get it all around here. Okay, I think we're good. I was way too generous with the glue. Okay, then we're going to bring in this panel and we're going to set this inside here. And I can't look straight over this, so I think I got that pretty well done. And then we'll lift this up, peel that off, and see all that residual that came through the pattern, so that by doing it on the non-stick, it's not on your paper where it'll be hard to peel that up. So there we go. Isn't that beautiful? Now here's a tip. I don't remember if I shared this last week. I might have just forgot. In my excitement, bring in your F block. This is the largest block that we have, and just set it on there and leave it for a few minutes. And what that does is it will allow the glue to have even pressure all the way around, and you'll get a nice flat card when it's all done. The clear blocks are awesome for this. And so let me kind of walk you through these. So this one here is Daffodil to Light in the center. I used a little bit of crumb cake, and then I used soft suede on the outer edges. Instead of the normal 2, I used 3 on this one because there was quite a bit of a difference going from the daffodil to the soft suede. So the crumb cake kind of bridged that difference. For this one, it was Pool Party in the center, and it was Bermuda Bay around the outside edge. And then this one was Petal Pink and Calypso Coral around the edge. Now the colors I chose were specifically to coordinate with the BIRD Ballad Suite. For instance, the designer paper, because I wanted all 12 of these cards to work together as one gift. So if you decide to do that, you can follow my lead, or you can just use whatever colors are your own personal favorite. So for the DIY Shimmer Mist, you're going to want 3 things. You're going to want our Stampin' Spritzers. They come in a 2-pack. They're just a few dollars. Excellent quality. These are great to have on hand for a variety of things. You're going to want the shimmer paint. They come in 2 colors. This one is Frost White. It also comes in a champagne that's got a little more gold shimmer to it. And then you're going to want some isopropyl or rubbing alcohol. And you can get it 70 to 90%. 70% tends to be the one that you'll find in most pharmacies. This bottle actually, I believe, came from Costco. So what you want to do is just fill up your Stampin' Spritzer about 3/4 the way with alcohol. You don't want to fill it all the way because the barrel will displace some of it. Now you can also use water for this because the shimmer paint is water-based. I do prefer the alcohol though, because alcohol tends to dry much faster and it leaves less warping on your paper. So alcohol is what I would suggest that you use. Then after you filled it with the alcohol, you're just going to give this a shake, and then you're going to add 4 to 6 drops of the shimmer paint. Now I don't know if you can see in there, but it's still up to about right here. And I have made probably, I don't know, anywhere from 12 to 20 of these shimmer mists where I've used it all up and remade it that many times, and I've hardly used any of the paint, so it will last a long time, a long time. That's it. So when you go to use it, you just want to give it a good shake because the shimmer will tend to sink down to the bottom, so you want to redistribute it throughout the alcohol. Give it a good shake, and then you're ready to just give it a good mist all over your projects. Creates just a beautiful, beautiful finish. So once you're done with the sponges, you can do a couple of things with them. If you'll notice on our classic Stampin' pads, it says water-based dye ink. So that means that these can be cleaned. You can simply take and rinse the ink off under the faucet, give them a good squeeze, and let them dry. Now you may get some ink staining from the darker colors, but that's not to worry about. Once you've rinsed it clear and they've dried, you won't get ink transfer. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can continue to just reuse them. So like I have mine that I keep in one of our full wide stamp cases. They come in a 4-pack like this, and these are great for storing, oh gosh, all kinds of things. I store my sponge brayer in this. You can store your sponge daubers in this. I have my watercolor pencil collection in one. I have all my embellishments like my jewels and such, enamel dots, that kind of stuff in one. The nice thing is they're nice and wide. These are the cases that our wood mount stamps used to come in, but they're the same dimensions as our stamp cases. So as far as being able to put them on your shelf next to your stamps, it just makes for really efficient and cost-effective storage. If you do decide to not wash them out and just continue to use them, one thing that you can do is take the coordinating cardstock paper, and this is the timeless label punch. So I just punched out a piece of cardstock, this is Pool Party, and folded it in half and then put a clip on it. And then I know that that's Pool Party and I can continue to use that. So if you want to do a lot of coloring with them, that's an easy way to just continue to use them. The one advantage to this method is that the more ink that you get built up on the stamp, actually the better coloring that you will get, because it just helps it to blend a little better the more ink that you have on it. So that is a plus to just leaving them as is. And then, like I said, then they just store in the case nice and easy, and they sit on my shelf just like that. So really a great way to do these. I do encourage you to practice a little bit. Practice the pressure that you use with the sponge. Practice how much ink that you get on it. Practice, the blending technique. This one was one of my first ones that I did. It was Rococo Rose and Mary Merlot, and I made a hot mess of it. It wasn't enough of a contrast. I set the sponge down and it kind of soaked in, and I couldn't get it blended back out, and I just was not happy with it at all. If that happens to you, here is an idea. Don't throw this away. Use it for die cuts. So this one is the Wish die from Broadway Lights. And so I thought, you know what, I can get 2 out of that. So let me show you. It goes from, not very pretty to, let's pull this out and set it against the white. And does that not look beautiful? Totally usable, right? So I'm going to get a second one from that. And then I thought, you know what? This is the Frosted Bouquet set. This is the dies. And I'm like, you know what about this little guy right here? And I could get that. And would that not be beautiful, as kind of background foliage on a Christmas card? In fact, if I move that down, I could probably get a second one here. So just think about, don't waste, don't think that this is wasted by any means. Take this and use this for die cuts. So there we go. 4 beautiful note cards that will be color coordinated to go with the 12 card gift set for my stepmom. I am thrilled with how these turned out. This is the one that we did today with the Poppy Parade and the Flirty Flamingo. I love that. I cannot wait to get some Christmas or holiday sentiments on there. I think that's going to be beautiful. So you'll see that one on the blog pretty soon. I hope that this was helpful for you. I would love a thumbs up, and I also love feedback from you. If there are any supplies that you need, you can find them in my online store at stampinsavvy.com/shop. I do have a rewards code, and for everybody that orders with me, I make a handmade card. That is my way of personally saying thank you for choosing me as your demonstrator. And you can find that on the website. I also have a Savvy Shopper rewards program that you can check out there as well at stampinsavvy.com. Please leave me, again, your feedback. I love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.